Hello everyone, my name is Darrielle Maree. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Before I dive into this beautiful intuitive guidance session today, I just want to say a heartfelt thank you to all of you amazing mothers who have trusted in me to write to me in the last week and a half. I have been absolutely overwhelmed and so honoured to receive your stories, and I want you to know that I can relate to every one of them, and I know that the collective community of mothers would absolutely relate to all of your stories, because we all experience similar emotions in our motherhood journeys as women. Today I have chosen a session that I felt really called to doing this session, because I feel like it's something that would benefit a lot of you. And it's a beautiful session for a mother that lives in the UK. I just want to also urge you, if you are feeling stuck or blocked in a current situation and you feel like you need extra support, please check out my support offerings, because I do offer these sessions on a personal basis. So I can do personal sessions just for you, which is not on YouTube, but also I invite you to keep writing to me, because your stories are going to help so many others out there in the community as well. And so thank you again. I'm just so honoured. So let's jump straight into today's session. As I mentioned, it's from a mother in the UK, and I'm going to actually read out to you what she has written to me. She says, "My baby was premature and poorly when born. He was later diagnosed with a disability. He is doing amazingly now, and he is the light in our lives. I've learned so much from him already, little enlightened soul that he is. It has taken me about a year to process the grief, trauma, and PTSD of having a poorly baby, and then to find out about his diagnosis and all the fear about what that might mean for his future. I've done a lot of work on myself, and I feel in a really good place now. I love him to bits, and that was never a question or doubt. But the only thing I'm struggling to get past is that my best friend had a baby 2 months after me and has had the smoothest ride. It's so unlike me, but I'm filled with bitterness, jealousy, and resentment when I see and hear about how easy her experience was. It was what I was expecting mine to be. So much so, I don't want to see her, and I just find the comparison too harsh at the moment. No one in my family understands why I'm being so odd about it. I love her though, and don't want my feelings to get in the way of our friendship. I really appreciate you taking the time to offer this service, and I would be interested to hear your perspective and any guidance you may be able to offer. Thank you." And I want to say thank you for sharing that, because as soon as I read it, I could relate myself, and I know that so many others experience this as well. This is not only for children with special needs, this is for any situation that we are experiencing or feeling emotionally triggered by when we come into contact with other people. And so what I began to do with this session was, let me just grab my notes here. Okay, so what I began to do in the beginning was apply my healing elixirs. So these 2 elixirs are products that I have created for the support, activation, and clearing of emotional heaviness that we are carrying. They support you on I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not. It's a bit hard in the light. There we go. So we've got a mother elixir and a child elixir. These were created to really support you through these sessions, but also the ancestral, the inner child, the heritage emotional traumas that we are holding, as well as past life as well. So I am actually going to apply both today, because I really feel like they both mother and child are potentially being affected emotionally by this particular situation. They're not always both needed, but I just feel intuitively called to putting both on. So that's the mother one. and we apply them and then just activate together. And I'm going to be transmitting the energy from these to this mother in the UK for this session to support her. Okay, and so what I thought I would do, I began by tapping in and actually channeling through some higher guidance for this session. And I'm best when I write things, when I channel. And so I thought that I would read out what came through. I will read part of it and then speak intuitively about part of what came through as well. And so I asked for some more clarity as to how this mother can be best supported in this situation. What came through was that we feel that this mother is in need of her own space right now to heal herself. It's okay to take time out from loved ones if we are feeling emotionally triggered and if those feelings are not serving ourselves and our family, particularly our children as well. It said here, what came through is just that perhaps it would be an idea to write a letter to your beautiful friend, expressing your gratefulness for your friendship and letting her know how much you really do love her as a friend. However, during this time, that's not to say that this will be forever either. This is just some space that you are potentially needing. You just need this space to be able to really go deeper within yourself. And this is really a form of self-love for you and being able to really set that boundary. And I know, in society, we are generally kind of conditioned to believe that we put others first, and particularly loved ones, right? So the norm would be to just suck your feelings in, right? Push them down and go and spend time with your friend so that the friendship doesn't waver a little bit. But I think that the best thing you can do for you right now, this is about you coming back to you and doing the best for you and your family, is just to really set that loving boundary. And I'm going to say loving boundary because it's certainly not with any malice. You may find as time goes on, when you have done that inner work, and the biggest thing that came through for me when I was working for you, darling, working with you, was this feeling of this need for inner trust that you are potentially needing to tap into. And I think what happens is, throughout our journey, particularly when we receive some sort of diagnosis from the doctors for our child or even for ourselves, we tend to go into that space of fear, and we tend to, instead of really trusting in what our heart is telling us, what our deepest kind of beliefs are around our family, we tend to start trusting outwardly to others. And what happens is, when we do that, when we trust outwardly instead of inwardly, then we start to feel those feelings of resentment and anger and, feeling upset. And then we tend to project that outwardly with, connections that are coming in, particularly from loved ones, because we're close to them. So the feelings that I got throughout this was the real need for you to tap into your truth, forgetting about what everybody around you is doing, what everybody else around you is saying, whatever the projections are for what might happen in the future for your family or your son. This is about you coming back to, what do I believe? What do I really desire for my family? And I really feel that it would be helpful to, actually, I'm going to visit that in 1 second because I have something else that I want to express, but I'll go there in a minute. But, I can really relate to this in my own journey, where I, particularly in the early days of diagnosis with my daughter, I used to go to the shops, which is something that I used to love to do, go and sort of stroll around or just go to do the groceries. And I would find myself back in the car after 5 minutes crying my eyes out, because what I could see, what I was perceiving externally, was all of these mothers who were having this amazing day, this perfect day, and why me? I'm not experiencing that. And so I think part of that is also judgment, because we have no idea what's going on in other people's lives. And even though this is your best friend, she may only be expressing to you all the good things that are going on. And, you know, I'm unsure of the level of friendship and connection that you have with this friend. But I think, yeah, sometimes we perceive other people's lives, or often we do this, we perceive other people's lives to be perfect and wonderful and smooth, yet everybody experiences heaviness from time to time in their lives. And most people have many challenges going on that they never discuss. And so for me, what I needed to do in that situation was say, okay, it's not serving me to go to the shops right now. I'm going to either get someone to come with me and support me in this, or I'm going to not go and ask somebody else to go to the shops and do the shopping for me. So I had to really tap into self-love there. And even though it's not the norm, right? It's the norm for the mother to go off and do the shopping. But that's something that I really had to set a boundary for myself. And so I can really feel there that it's okay for you to take time out from this friend. But knowing that, you know, it's not, you love her, right? And you're coming from a space of pure intention and pure love. There's nothing malicious about what you're doing. Okay, so the next thing that I did was I picked a card for you. So this particular deck that I picked this card from is from the Mother Mary Oracle, and it's created by Alana Fairchild, who I adore. The card that came up for you today was Our Lady of Manifest Miracles. Hopefully you can see that. Now the word that stood out for me in this card is the word miracles. And I did read through the little booklet and the little synopsis around it. And what really stood out for me was this, your need to be able to tap into the miraculous. And I know that the word miracles is thrown around a lot, and I'm not relating to some ridiculous miracle dropping into your life right now. But what I'm referring to is you really sitting down and tapping into what are my deepest desires, what are my deepest beliefs about my family, what are my biggest dreams, what would I really love to happen and unfold in the future for my family. Journal them down, take some sacred time out, some space for yourself. Journal down all of those desires and those beliefs that you have. Erase or putting aside all of the stuff that you've been told by others, all the things that you've read, all the things that you've researched. This is about what's in your heart, what sits deep within. And I really feel for you that once you can, feel those desires as you're reading them out or as you're writing them, and really place them back in your heart, right? And just trust in your heart, trust in yourself, that your journey is happening for you, and it's happening for the good of you and your family, or your son in particular. And this journey is a gift, and I really think that once you can do the work and start to really trust in your own self, in your own heart, and believe in yourself and your own power to take your family to a beautiful space, which it sounds like you've already done in many situations. You've said that you've done a lot of work and you're feeling really good, and you're talking about how your son is this enlightened soul. And so it's just about, in those little niggly situations, which are just tests, how can you really stand in your strength, in your heart, and know that everything is fine, that your journey is actually a gift, it's a positive. And that can take time for you to really believe that in your own heart. And I really feel for you that once you can do that and stand in that strength, then you will be able to spend time with your friend, and nothing will trigger you, nothing will touch you, because you are feeling strong in you. And I really feel at the moment that it's coming, you're perhaps trusting in everything else out there and what you're being told and said, and the fear, and not coming back to here in that real strength. So I did tap in with and do a little intuitive session for you, just to clear out anything and support you energetically and what might need to be perhaps cleared or activated. Interestingly enough, the first thing that came through was your sexual self, and I kind of stopped and went, okay, what could that potentially mean for you, because I don't know you. But the next thing that came up was that it's an ancestral thing. So it's coming from, it's an energy or an emotion that you are holding on to potentially, that is blocking you from moving forward, that has come from somebody in your family line, an ancestor. I did do a little bit of channeling after that, because I just wanted a little bit of clarity as to where that was coming from. And what came through was just really simple. A family member of yours had perhaps an intimate or sexual encounter in the past where they lost trust in themselves. And I think this is where all this energy is tying in, is that lack of trust in you, in yourself, in your own heart. So I was asked to do an energetic enhancement there, just in your home. And so I've really done an activation more so of to amplify the energy and clear out anything in your home that's not serving you, but then amplify whatever needs to come through there for you. And just with all of that work that I have done for you today, I just want to reiterate that you don't need to go away and think about your ancestors and what may have happened to them and tap into that old energy. Just know that that's been cleared out now, and that it is done. So there's no need to revisit any of that or even overanalyze any of that. It's gone. And sorry, I'm just going to read through what else came through. Yeah, so pretty much it's just a matter for you, I felt, hun, is it's okay to have that space. It's okay to set that boundary in self-love for yourself and in love for the energy within your family, particularly for your son and you. And it's about you kind of strengthening your vibration, strengthening your truth and trust within yourself and within the universe, that you have been given this gift to be able to step forward into, I'm going to call it the miraculous, because that's what came through on this card, to step into the miraculous for you and your family. But that's only going to come from a place from within you. This is your power. You hold the power to create this for your family. And when we tap out and start trusting everybody else around us and tapping into their stories, then we lose that connection with self and our trust within ourselves. And then we lose the ability to be able to attract these things into our lives. And so I want to send you so much love, hun. And I want to thank you again for sharing with me. And I hope that this story has helped others as well. I'm sure we can all relate in some way, whether we have a child with special needs or not. We all tend to do this, don't we? We look outwardly and then feel triggered emotionally. And so it's all about strength within ourselves. And so again, I want to remind you, if you would like to write to me and you would like a session to be intuitively guided just like this on YouTube to share with others, I'd be so honored to receive your story. So please check out my website. There is a link on there under support offerings for, I think it's called YouTube questions, but I will put the link below just so that you can click through there if you are interested. And I really look forward to connecting with you soon. Lots of love.